Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Replay English podcast. I'm your host, Elena, and I'm so happy you're here today. In this episode, we're going to talk about something we all do every single day, our daily routine. Now, you might think, oh, that's such a simple topic. But trust me, learning how to talk about your daily routine is one of the best ways to start thinking in English. Because you already know what you do every day, you just need to describe it in English. And once you can talk about your own day, you'll start to feel more natural and confident when speaking. Before we begin, let's learn a few useful phrases that can make your daily routine sound more natural and a bit more advanced. The first one is I usually kick off my day by, which means I start my day by. For example, I usually kick off my day by stretching and drinking a glass of water. The next one is I can't function without, which means something you need to feel awake or ready. For example, I can't function without my morning coffee. Another great phrase is to be pressed for time, meaning you're in a hurry or have little time. For instance, I sometimes skip breakfast when I'm pressed for time. And one more useful one, to take my time. It means to do something slowly and carefully. On weekends, I take my time to enjoy my breakfast and read the news. These phrases make your English sound more expressive and natural, not just like a list of actions. So in today's episode, we'll go through my daily routine step by step, from morning to night. We'll learn lots of useful phrases, listen to short stories, and do a little bit of speaking practice together. You don't need to take notes. Just relax, listen, and repeat when I ask you to. All right, let's get started. Let's begin with mornings, probably the hardest part of the day for many people. So let me tell you about my morning. I usually wake up around 7 a.m. The first thing I do is check my phone. I know, it's not the best habit, but I think most of us do that. Then I get out of bed, stretch a little, and go to the bathroom. I wash my face, brush my teeth, and make sure I look awake, even if I'm still half asleep inside. After that, I make myself a cup of coffee. Coffee is my morning magic. It wakes me up and gives me energy. While I drink it, I like to listen to some soft music or a podcast, just like this one. Sometimes I eat breakfast, sometimes I skip it if I'm in a rush. Then I get dressed and leave for work around 8:30. Now let's look at a few useful phrases from my story. I usually wake up around. Say this to talk about what time you get up. The first thing I do is use this to explain the first part of your day. After that, then, and finally are great connectors for telling stories in order. And here's one slightly more advanced. Once I'm done with, which means after I finish something. For example, once I'm done with breakfast, I pack my bag and head to work. Let's practice together. Repeat after me. I usually wake up around 7. I usually wake up around 7. The first thing I do is wash my face. The first thing I do is wash my face. After that, I make breakfast. After that, I make breakfast. Once I'm done with breakfast, I leave for work. Once I'm done with breakfast, I leave for work. Finally, I get on the bus. Finally, I get on the bus. Perfect. You're already building your own routine story. Now let's move on to the middle of the day. Work time. Here's another short story about what I usually do. I start work at 9 o'clock. When I arrive at the office, I turn on my computer and check my emails. Then I usually have a short meeting with my team. We talk about what we need to do that day, any new projects, or problems that need solving. Around noon, I take a lunch break. Sometimes I go out with my coworkers and grab a quick meal. Other times, I just eat a sandwich at my desk while watching YouTube or listening to music. In the afternoon, I answer emails, make phone calls, and finish my reports. The afternoons always go faster when I'm busy. I usually finish work around 5. Here are a few more advanced but useful expressions for this part of your day. You can say, I get caught up in work, meaning you become very busy or focused. For example, I sometimes forget to eat lunch because I get caught up in work. Another one is to be swamped with work, which means you have a lot to do. This week has been crazy. I've been swamped with work. Or you could say to call it a day, which means to stop working. I usually call it a day around 5:30. These are phrases native speakers use all the time, and they'll help your English sound more fluent and natural. Now let's move on to the evening. For me, evenings are my favorite time of the day. It's when I can relax and do the things I enjoy. When I get home, the first thing I do is take off my shoes and change into comfortable clothes. I love soft pajamas or loose t-shirts. It just feels so good after a long day. Then I cook dinner, usually something simple like rice and vegetables or pasta with sauce. While cooking, I often listen to music or talk with a friend on the phone. After dinner, I clean up the kitchen and sometimes watch a bit of TV. If I have energy, I go for a short walk around my neighborhood. Walking helps me clear my mind and feel calm before bed. Before I go to sleep, I brush my teeth, wash my face, and prepare for the next day. I set my alarm, check my phone one last time, and then put it away. I usually go to bed around 11 p.m. Here are some great phrases for your evening routine. You can say to wind down, which means to relax after a busy day. For example, I like to watch TV to wind down in the evening. Another useful phrase is to call it a night, which means to go to bed or stop your activities. I usually call it a night around 11. And one more, to recharge my batteries, which means to rest and regain energy. I spend some quiet time alone to recharge my batteries. Try adding these into your own sentences. They make your English sound more expressive and real. Now let's make your sentences sound even more natural by talking about habits, not just facts. Native speakers often use special phrases to describe routines. We already learned, I tend to, I'm used to, most days, and every now and then. Let's add a few more. You can say, I make it a habit too, which means you do something regularly. I make it a habit to drink water as soon as I wake up. Another one is, I try to stick to, which means you try to keep doing something. I try to stick to my morning routine even on weekends. These small expressions make you sound more advanced without being too difficult. Now I want to share a few tips to make your daily routine sound less boring and more personal when you talk about it in English. Tip 1. Add feeling words. Don't just say what you do. Say how you feel about it. For example, I wake up at 6, which is too early for me. I usually cook dinner, and I actually enjoy it. It's relaxing. Tip 2. Use time words like usually, often, sometimes, every day, once a week, before bed. They make your story sound complete. Tip 3. Use connectors like after that, then, next, and finally. It's better to say I wake up, then I shower, and after that I eat breakfast, instead of I wake up, I shower, I eat breakfast. Tip 4. Don't worry about mistakes. Focus on fluency first. Your goal is to be understood, not perfect. Before we finish, I want to reflect on why routines are important. Not just for learning English, but for life. We often think our daily routines are boring. We wake up, work, eat, sleep, and repeat. But if you look closely, these small habits shape who we are. The way you start your morning can decide how your whole day feels. If you wake up calmly, drink your coffee slowly, and say something positive to yourself, your day feels lighter. If you rush, skip breakfast, and stress about time, your whole day might feel heavy. So learning to talk about your daily routine in English is more than vocabulary practice. It's a chance to notice your life, to see the little details that make each day special. Maybe you always stop at the same cafe and the barista remembers your name. Maybe you walk your dog and see the same sunrise every morning. Maybe your evening walk helps you feel peaceful after a long day. That's your story, your rhythm, and it's worth telling, even in simple English. When you learn to describe your life, you also start to appreciate it. You realize that language isn't just words, it's connection. When you tell someone about your morning, you're sharing a piece of who you are. Let's do a quick review of what we learned today. We talked about morning routines, work and afternoon activities, and evening routines. We practiced connectors like after that, then, and finally. We learned habit phrases like I tend to, I'm used to, most days, every now and then, and advanced expressions like kick off my day, pressed for time, get caught up in work, wind down, and recharge my batteries. Now here's your challenge for this week. Record a 1-minute audio about your daily routine in English. Don't read, just speak naturally. Use at least 3 of the new phrases you learned today. Then listen to yourself and notice your pronunciation, your flow, and your confidence. Remember, learning English is like brushing your teeth. You have to do it every day, a little at a time. And one day, you'll realize it's become part of your routine. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Replay English podcast. I hope this episode helped you not only practice English, but also think about your own daily rhythm. If you liked this lesson, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend who's also learning English. Next week, we'll talk about small talk at work, how to start simple, friendly conversations with your coworkers. Until then, keep practicing, keep smiling, and remember, English becomes easy when it becomes part of your everyday life. This is Elena from Replay English Podcast, signing off. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time.